Thank you very much.
Welcome to the Up Your Confidence podcast, the destination podcast for female listeners seeking to build their self esteem, for maximize leadership skill, and enhance performance at work and in life. Hi everybody, I'm Lisette. Today's episode is going to be personal. I'm going to talk about something most people avoid, the end. Not because I'm morbid, but because I believe that when you begin with the end in mind, you give your life direction, intention, and peace. And it's one of my favorite quotes, and why is matter. One of my favorite quotes, often credited to Stephen Covey, but not to Dale Carnegie. And I took a training, a leadership training, almost 15 years ago, I want to say. And my favorite part of the 7 habits of Stephen Covey is begin with the end in mind. That was a Dale Carnegie training where we used the Stephen Covey 7 habits of highly effective people. And my favorite all time is to begin with the mind philosophy. It's not just a business advice, it's a life advice. It's a strategic advice. And a while ago in that leadership training, and also fast forward to a couple of years ago when I was doing my Up Your Confidence or confidence coaching class, when I was doing a confident coaching certification. You guys know that I'm a certified confidence coach. We were asked to write our own eulogy, and it's really a confronting exercise, but it made me stop and think, what do I want people to say about me when I'm gone? How do I want my daughter and my son to remember me? What story should my community tell about my work and my value? That exercise really sparkled a deep reset, and it still shapes how I lead, live, and show up in every situation. It's a very personal reflection. As you know, I lost my dad nearly 2 years ago. This year in July, it's going to be 2 years ago. It was really hard. I thought by 2 years I would have feel a little bit better, but it still hurt every day to remember that, not just it was too soon, but because, nothing has been planned. He was sick for over 30 months, and yet no one during those 30 months could talk to him about the end. No one was courageous. It made me realize that not thinking about death doesn't make it go away. It only makes things harder for those we will leave behind, because the people that leave, they're gone. They're actually gone on. Move forward to do other things. The people that left behind left in a shamble, in a scramble, and left to pick up the pieces, left to understand what's left to deal with everything that is left. So that experience changed me. That's why I now think about legacy early and often, not just for wealth, but for memory, value, and impact. So when you think about legacy isn't just about money. I've been studying a lot the word legacy, heritage, because I had to think about it suddenly. I actually gave my dad eulogy, and one of the things that I share around his eulogy was that I wrote his eulogy on the Father's Day, exactly 30 days before his actual death, which was Father's Day 2023, and then 1 month later, 2 weeks later, he got really sick and he was in the hospital. And then 2 weeks later, he passed away. So 1 month later, I was on stage in front of 500 people and plus, you know, giving a eulogy about my dad. And I had to quickly think about all the 45 or 40 plus year, 43 plus year that I've spent with him. What did I learn from him? Was it easy? Was it difficult? I had to go through it, and I found a thread, and that's the thread that I use in the eulogy for him. But what does that mean? So I've been thinking a lot about legacy. So what does legacy mean? I'll give you a couple of examples in this podcast. It's example of this podcast. This is a message being for my daughter or my son to one day hear how to up your confidence, because we talk about on this podcast how to up your confidence every day. We bring guests in. I talk about myself, my up your confidence journey, different things that happen that women don't up your confidence. I'm writing a book about up your confidence, so you can definitely see this is a message bank that it's gonna be my legacy. My kids can come back in the future and flip the page, read the book, and flip the YouTube page and see my video, and they will learn a lot. So this is a legacy that I'm leaving. It's the travel memory. We adopt as a family that we love to travel, and we realize that these are the best memory that we can leave our kids, because they will remember. Because you have to realize that the kids, they are with us for a short time. Most of your kids are gonna be with you for like 20 years maximum, because after 18, the number of time they're gonna spend with you is not gonna be more than 2 years time spent together. So you don't spend more than 25 years with your kid in general. After 18, they have the rest of their life to spend. If you get to see them once a month, every year, that is literally a math that you're going to be doing, for as long as you live. You get to see them 1 month in a year. So you can already see that, spending quality time with your kid now matter more. These are things that we were not thinking about, when I was growing up, and I have to leave my home country, Benin, and live in the state for 25 years. And in those span of 25 years, I had to think about how many times did I came back, how many times did I see my dad, how many times did we see each other. And when you calculate it, it comes to a very short amount of time. So travel memory for our family, it's very crucial, and this is something that we are building into our kid. This is something that we want to learn to hang out with our kid now, so that when they go later on in college, for my daughter it's going to be in 4 years, for my son it's still going to be for the longest time. We want to create that bond so that they can choose to come back, because when they become an adult, they have the full schedule in front of them. They can decide to see you for 2 weeks in the year, for 1 week if you 1 week, or 1 month if you're lucky, 3 months if you're really lucky. So it is, time is of the essence. So those are the memory with my kid that I want them to think of me every time. One of the things that my daughter joke about is, mommy love luxury things. So I want them, every time they see a lovely perfume, a nice purse, a nice jewelry, to remind me, because those are things that give me joy, and I want them to know that, and give them joy too. Those are memories that I'm living. If they visit a new country, they should think about me. Those are the memory that I have. I know that I have a connection with my dad, that he loved traveling. So when I'm in a new place and I'm discovering something, I just know that he's here with me, because I'm like, we share this kind of memory before, and I'm sure this memory are also there for him. It's the way I show up at the work. I want people to say that if you want something done, call Lisette. That's what you call a memory, really. I want my people to remind me as someone who get things done, who motivate others, and who lead with honesty and fairness. As a leader, that's what I want people to remember. And that brings me to the philosophy. Before I talk about this philosophy, when you are doing your eulogy, really, it's a moment for you to craft who you want people to see. Because sometimes when we are walking in life, what we want, the intention that we want people to see versus how we show up is different. How people see us is different. Now, you're always going to have people that see you differently, that don't like you, that don't like the way you move, that don't like the way you carry yourself. That's fine. For those that love you and that are in your corner, you want them to see you the way you really intended to be. If you want to be a kind person, a loving person, a forgiving person, a strict person, a rigorous person, a standard following person, a I don't give a F person, You need to be that person. You need people to feel that you are that person, and that's super important. Okay. So now let me talk about the philosophy that I love a lot. I've come to love this philosophy. This philosophy is called die with zero. You're gonna be like, oh, Lisette, what are we talking about today on this podcast? But I learned about this philosophy a while back, a couple of months ago, and it has been permeating my heart, and it has been a philosophy that I'm slowly adopting, and I feel like it's already part of the way that I live, so it's natural. So the die with zero mindset come with Bill Perkins' book Die with Zero hit home for me. The idea is simple: don't die with a big bank account, die with zero regret. Because let me tell you, in some country, if you die with this big bank account, the government is going to take your money. It's gonna be a long process for your kid to get your money, you know. So die with zero regret. Do everything you have to do. Don't be on your hospital bed worrying about all kind of thing. Worry about your kid, worry about what you have done, what you have not done, you know. Die with zero regret. That's why every decision that I make no regret about the decision. The philosophy is about maximizing your experience while you are still healthy and present. So maximize all the experience, spending money and time intentionally. So everything you are doing need to be with intention, you know. Creating memory dividend, this is my favorite one, you know. Experience that pay off emotionally. So I have arrived at a time of my life where memory dividend is matter to me a lot, you know. Things that pay off emotionally for years to come. You have ever been to a place or experience something or eat something and you are still talking about it until today? I was literally sharing a story to my mom about a restaurant that my husband took me to on a date night years ago in Dallas, Texas. You know, actually on Frankfurt, I can remember the place. This lovely small French restaurant, and we had the most beautiful dish called sol menu. You know, lovely simple European French dish, but the food was so good. It was the most amazing. I know I'm a foodie, but the food was so good that I will never forget the taste of that food in my mouth and the whole experience. I don't know if it's because I was surprised that I went on a date night, but it was just a beautiful moment. I think we were recently married. Maybe we didn't have kids. I don't remember, but that restaurant, the setting, the food, the ambiance, everything was just perfect. And I still can remember until today that experience. And this is not the only restaurant that I've been to with my husband. This is not the only date night, but it just that date night, that day, that restaurant, the food, everything just hit perfectly together. And we actually knew that we enjoyed so much that we said we're gonna come back, but we never had chance to come back. And I'm sure if we went back, I'm sure next time we go to the state together, we might try to go to that restaurant. But I just wanted to hold on to that memory. So those are what I call memory dividend. It's like experience that you have and it just hold on to you, you know. Another experience that I had sometime last year, I think, or even 2 years ago, was one of my friends, she was celebrating her birthday and she wanted to go to this restaurant, but she was not sure, and I told her let's go, you know. And last minute she made an appointment. It was her birthday, and my birthday was coming a week later. I didn't have a plan for my birthday. I actually did something fun for my birthday, but for some reason I was so in the moment with her for her birthday, you know. I was like the camera girl, I was the food critic, I was the vlogger, you know. I even did a vlog, but I was so present for her birthday that I enjoyed that moment for her with her. And it was such a beautiful moment, you know. And everything was just hit the note. Again, it was in another restaurant, or maybe there's something about me and restaurant and nice setting. Everything was perfect that day. We didn't have anything negative to say. We were just both of us. Everything hit the perfect note. So those are memory dividend that you can hold on to, that even the bank account never will store that for you, you know. So emotionally for you, things that you remember, and there's so much more, you know. Me and my family, we went to Thailand last year, and I took my daughter to a cooking class, you know, and I always like to do something special with my daughter when we travel. And we went to a cooking class, and it was the best cooking experience, just buying the vegetable, getting the fruit, you know, in the person's house, learning how to cook Thai food, tasting the food. Amazing experience, once in a lifetime opportunity. And when I'm talking about that, I remember another amazing experience. So I feel like I'm already doing so much of the memory dividend that my brain is flooded with those kind of beautiful memory, you know. Again, when we were in Nice 2 years ago, I think 2 summer ago exactly, you know, after I had lost my dad, you know, I just wanted to do something with my daughter, and I took her just out of the group, and we went to Saint Tropez for a day, and we had lunch, you know, at Louis Vuitton Cafe, a beautiful place. We had lunch, or we had snack at Louis Vuitton Cafe, like our afternoon coffee and snack, and then we have lunch at a beautiful restaurant overseeing the Mediterranean. It was just beautiful moment, you know. Everything was perfect, the food was perfect, the ambience was perfect. Me and my daughter was in sync. It was just beautiful. Same thing also we shared at the Louis Vuitton Cafe. We went shopping in Christian Dior store. We took picture, you know, with triumphing. It was just beautiful, you know. So select memory while while you are alive, not waiting until your will is read, you know. It's not about being reckless, really. It's not about postponing life for for the future that may never come, you know. That's the thing. I am not into the game plan, and that's never been my personality. I am mostly the YOLO kind of person, and maybe this episode will be call it YOLO, I don't know, but I've had the YOLO mindset long time ago, which is you only live once, so you need to experience life fully with no regret. And I continue to be that, because life has up and down, and it's good when you find a moment of up to hold on to the up and maximize the up, so that when the valley comes, you're also going to be in the valley deep down and working hard to get yourself up, because you know when you get yourself up, it's going to be an amazing moment, you know. And another amazing moment was my husband was celebrating a huge milestone this year. He didn't really want to do anything, but we managed to celebrate with him in a very subtle way. But even how the whole situation, event, celebration happened in Istanbul, with his birthday name on the marquees on the bridge, was just a last minute thing, well planned out, you know, for months. But just that little touch out of everything, being in our own personal yacht, having a friend last minute able to join us, and they both have the same birthday, you know, at the same time he was celebrating, and she was also there celebrating, and we were able to meet together and celebrate both of them on a private yacht, overseeing again the Mediterranean, and having his name on the marquee of the bridge. That is what we call memory dividend, things that will stick with you forever. I am in the business of creating memory going forward, you know. I'm in the business of creating memory. I'm no longer in the business of like materialistic thing, you know. Even though I like a good thing, I like a good champagne, I like a good wine, I like a good jewelry, I like a good hair makeup, I like a good perfume, I like a good scarf, I like a good massage, you know. But I just love a good memory, you know. Memory will stay forever. Gift, I love any gift. So applying, so I've been thinking, since I'm now a business owner and I'm running a couple of business, I've been thinking about this die with zero philosophy, you know. How does that apply in business? And as I listen to a lot of business podcasts and a lot of business leader, I realized that, you know, I'm already applying this die with zero philosophy, actually, even in my business long time ago. Because if you know, I come from a social entrepreneur background, so even though now I'm into enterprising and for profit business, the social entrepreneur part is still run through me in a way. And I love that when I read it, it just calmed my heart down and told me that I'm living with intention, and this has always been part of my journey. And I'm so glad that I'm sharing that on the podcast today. So this mindset has changed the way I live my business. I lead my business. A couple of things that we have been doing here is prioritizing high impact projects that fulfill our mission. So one thing, you got to define your mission. Let it be for CSI, let it be any business that I'm doing going forward. I am defining a clear vision, not just the one that maximizes profit, but just all of them. For instance, with my CSI STEM camp, people are surprised that with everything that I got going on, I find time during summer to just travel with the kid instead of maybe delegating to a staff, because I want those memory and relationship with those kids now. I want them to know that there's a leader in the community that have many year experience, that have worked for large organization, but still holding their hand and taking them to a summer camp in a different country and training them and giving them knowledge and finding relationship for them. I want to build those relationship. Another thing we also do at CSI, with empower intern early, right, with real responsibility. I am not one of those companies that we just hire intern for the sake of hiring intern. The last time I hired a group of intern was in 2020, and we now in 2025, and we're doing that again. So we empower intern early, we hire them, and we do our best to keep them on our payroll as much as possible until they decide to grow. Most of the intern that I had in 2020 became professional later on, and they have been all successful. I see them all on LinkedIn really doing great things. So those are my legacy, for instance, right? Those are things that you empower other people, and those are part of your legacy. You don't need to wait for your legacy to create. You can already be creating your legacy today. That's really the goal of this podcast today. So empower intern early with responsibility, not waiting that when we become big and we are able to scale, we can start now. Say yes. Another thing that I do, and I've been doing it for years, is I say yes to any conference, podcast, and visibility opportunity. Not because I want to be selective and saying I'm at this level now, I don't want to talk to this podcast. I talk to everybody, even the podcasts that don't have any viewer, even the network that I know it's not gonna do much. I just give people the opportunity to share my story, and I just know that even if 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 people get to hear my story, that is already amazing. That's already fulfilling my mission. I try to share my knowledge and influence freely because I want my legacies to start now, right? That's what I'm saying. Like, I want my legacy to be happening now. I don't need to be gone for the legacy to take place. You have to go into the mindset of, I want my legacy to start now. And Scott Galloway, I have to say, was not my favorite people for the longest time. He has this mindset of the masculinity thing. He made some comments at some point that I was not too for, but I have been enjoying his podcast lately with I forgot this lady name, but I've been enjoying a couple of his podcasts to pivot a lot. And Keisha, Karen Keisha, I think. So, and I find out that he's thinking about he has the die with zero philosophy. He say define your enough. Talk about Scott Galloway talk about setting your personal enough number. I relate to that. I've hit some milestone, but I'm more focused on what I can build, who I can empower, and how I can live fully, not just to accumulate, because I have a disdain for people that just want to accumulate wealth. I'm sorry. Like, how much million do you need? How much? Like, some people are so rich that it's giving us regular people headache. Like, how much do we need? Like, how many house do you need? Like, I know sometimes my husband always say, like, we should do this, and I'm always like, You can only sleep in one house at a time, like even if you have one house in each country, you can only sleep in one at a time, because this body of yours can only be in one place at a time. You cannot be in Istanbul, in Dubai, in the United States, in Benin, in Ivory Coast, in London, and in Ghana all at the same time. So even if you want to do things all over the world, collect asset and do whatever, you gotta be strategic. You gotta be really using the mindset of like, let's not just accumulate for the sake of accumulation. Let's be strategic. Begin with the mind, the end in mind. Ask yourself, how do I want to be remembered? That's really the question you want to ask yourself. What story will people tell about my life? What value do I need to pass down to other people? And for me, I pay attention to those values. I want my kids to know the value that I'm passing down to them. I want them to see my character. These are the things that I've already built into my DNA. I've already have habit, because parents are always worrying about what other people are teaching their kids, but they don't pay attention to what they're actually teaching their kid. Parents always worry about like, oh, what is the teacher? What is the school teaching? What is this? What is this? The kids, they spend more time with you than anybody else. So you, number one, are the priority of your kids. You are the number one person that set everything. Like people are worrying about the bathroom issue. People are worrying about who does my kid talk to. People are worrying about what neighborhood does my kid goes to school. All matters. But how many time in real sense does your kid spend with other people? Your kids spend more time with you. You go on vacation with your kid. You travel with your kid. You do homework with them. They are in your house. So you work on your own value that you're going to pass down to your kids. And then everything else will set fine. And those value, you are passing them those value between the age of 6 and the age of 14, actually. You have an 8-year window between 6 and 14 to pass all the value. It's almost like you're going to college twice. Think of it as 4-year college twice. So you have 8 years to pass the value down to your kids. All the value. And once you pass those value, that's your legacy already. That is your legacy already. Let's not pass trauma to our kid. Let's not pass toxic behavior to our kid. Let's not pass trauma to our kid. Let's pass great value. Let's pass abundance. Let's not pass fear to our kids. Because a lot of parents have built fear in their life, have been low self-esteem to their life, have been the scarcity mindset to their life, and that's all they have. That's their heritage, just their value, and they are passing down those. I beg you, do not pass those to your kid. Let's pass positivity. Let's pass authenticity. Let's pass transparency. Let's pass financial transparency. I am super transparent with my kids. When I don't have it, I say I don't have it. I say mommy is doing this, daddy's already doing this, so we cannot doing this. And you guys need to see how grateful you are because we already spend money doing this. So transparency, because some of us, we grow up and we had no idea what kind of family we live in. It could be a good thing or a bad thing, but let's be super authentic, super transparent, and pass on a positive legacy to our next generation. Those are values we should be passing down. Parents should worry about what they are passing down to their kids more than what everybody else is doing. Because guess what? If you pass the best value down to your kids, nobody else will be able to overpass that. It's almost like you are downloading into their DNA. You are downloading information into your kids. So if you download information in your kids, you already download into their DNA. Nobody can come back and erase it unless they do a factory reset. But nobody can do a factory reset. You have to die to do a factory reset. So you already embedded all the value, all the great character that you want. You have to build that into your kids. And that is the legacy that they're going to leave behind. That will be what you will be leaving behind. What I leave behind on purpose What is the purpose? What is your purpose? And the great thing about begin with the end in mind is allow you to actually start over with clarity and focus and drive and focus. Focus is one of my favorite word. Is one of my favorite driven anchor, because it allow you to stay focused. Allow you to define a trajectory for yourself. Define a direction that you want to go to. Now, final thought. Your challenge this week is to write your eulogy. YOUology. This is an assignment that I do in my Up Your Confidence program, and for people that I train on Up Your Confidence. Is really challenge this week is to write your eulogy. Yeah, I said it. Write how you want to be remembered. I've done this exercise several times. It's very difficult for people that have not done it before to do it, but it's good to do it. It's good to frame your mind around it. It cannot help you become very strategic and very clear and not waste time, because we waste so much of our time into what people think, into what other people might think, into what might happen, into be fearful instead of be fearless, into not moving forward because we don't have clarity, into because we're afraid, But when you know that you have a straight path to your goal, and this is how you want to be remembered, you will be fearless. Then ask, am I living that way today? Once you define how you want to be perceived, how you want to be remembered, ask yourself, am I living that way today? Because once you begin with the end in mind, you stop wasting time. You start leading with clarity, purpose, and confidence. Whenever you have clarity and you have purpose, you are marching on with confidence. And with marching on with confidence, maybe you will die with zero. Because the idea is to die with zero regret. Zero regret and zero in your bank account. Thank you for listening to Up Your Confidence podcast today. If this episode made you think, share it with a friend. Let's normalize living intentionally and dying fulfilled. Thank you for listening to another episode of the Up Your Confidence podcast. As always, we are bringing you meaningful and engaging, candid conversation that will ignite a strong drive and determination in women so that they can achieve great milestones both in personal and professional life. I will stay true to my mission of empowering and encouraging women to become confident and to actively pursue leadership role in workplace, home, and everyday life. Thank you and stay tuned. Bye-bye.
Share and subscribe to our YouTube so you can help us grow our YouTube. We have been on this podcast for 5 years. We have been voted one of the best topper in our category, which is confidence and personal development. So subscribe so you can keep us and let the algorithm see us. Thank you. Bye bye. See you next time.